boy, oh boy, guys, are you wanting more and more and more when it comes to Nichol Kessinger, her involvement, and everything when it comes to Chris Watts. And today we're going to be taking a look at everything that Dr. Phil has pretty much mentioned that he calls on Nichol Kessinger's BS. Plus, Nichol Kessinger has a safe house. And we're going to be taking a look at that, the things that you've been asking for the quietest, or quite the long time. So grab a chair, grab some popcorn as we dive in more to the rabbit hole of a safe house, not safe house. Safe house and what Dr. Phil has mentioned. We're not going to go into too much of Dr. Phil, but Dr. Phil, obviously for how many, 25, 26 years that he's been into psychology, sociology, observations of people's behaviors and patterns. We're going to be taking a look at all that right now. So grab a chair, grab some popcorn. Make sure you guys subscribed by hitting the white bar icon down at the bottom right. Hit that bell icon next to it so I do post videos like this one. You guys will get that little ring notification that Zowoki myself has posted that video. And you guys can watch, comment, like, and share. And again, thank you guys so very much. We're rearing the end of 25 into 26. I can't wait to see what the future holds for this channel. We are on the road to 100K, but I can't do it without you guys. So make sure you guys are subscribed, turn on notifications, hit the bell icon, comment your thoughts down below on Nichol Kessinger and the whole Chris Watts case. Be respectful, be kind, don't be negative in the comments as well. And with that being said, let's get into the Nichol Kessinger safe house, and then we're going to get into the Dr. Phil stuff. Let's take a look. What is a safe house? A safe haven to get away from everything. A house in a secret location used by spies or criminals in hiding. Secret place of sanctuary or suitable to hide people from law, hostile actors, or actions. Listen to who had a safe house.
Happened to me. I mean, I have like a safe house in Denver that I can go to, that I have the keys to, that has nobody there ever. And it's all I have to do is check the mail, and there's no questions asked, and nobody knows where it is, and I'm not telling anybody, but it's like,
where was this?
Like a really nice spot for me to like hide out.
Why would she sit there and tell him this?
And I don't have any friends in that building. I mean, it's an apartment, but it's
and
like
we will
safe.
answer your phone calls. But the safe house is from
the safe house. Is the safe
people
house.
banging on her.
So she's probably there. What normal human being has a ready-to-go safe house? A girl that has a big bad history of stabbing people in the back, doing stuff with married men and making them commit murder? Why is the investigator not asking her why she has a place to fight? Exactly. What law-abiding citizen has a place that they can go and hide away in? Unless that person had days to plan and think ahead. Reminds you of anybody? A narcissist, a person who has an excessive interest and admiration of themselves. Wow. A psychopath does not feel they show you what you want to see in order to get what they want.
Okay. All right. Are you guys gonna help me if we go?
Super intelligent. So
I appreciate that. That's a nice compliment. When we go to like trial for this, if that's what he so feels the need to take this to, are you guys gonna help like coach me through these questions?
So we would be
Coach? This girl has all of this. Wow. I never saw that part of those. Wow. So this is the one apparently about that if Chris knew about the safe house and the location where it was at and so forth that she had mentioned in that interview that we just looked at. Let's take a look.
Nichol Kessinger, in her interview, said that she had a safe house. A safe place where she can go to hide from everyone.
But why
and
would
get
you
away
need that?
from everything that was happening. We never actually found out where this place was,
She could have been there the whole
or why
time.
she even had a place set up where nobody could find her.
But why would you tell the
But
police that?
Chris, in his interview in February, when law enforcement went to go interview him,
Did he say
he
about it?
said that Nikki had told him that she was going to Jim's. That is Nichol Kessinger's safe house.
Is it?
Have a listen to Chris tell officers that Nikki told him that she was staying at Jim's and she wouldn't be able to contact him.
That could be.
That was like she had told me like this is the last time you'll probably hear from me. I'm going to stay at my friend Jim's place. All this is all going on. Should not to contact her until this is done.
But Jim could be a whole nother
Everything.
place. But I want to know why she was so
We
defensive
all
on
know
Jim
the
too.
famous quote that she said, "Leave Jim alone."
But why?
But we didn't know that her safe house was Jim's house. She was going to be staying with Jim.
But I don't
Is
think.
this one of the main reasons she didn't want Jim being involved? Why didn't she tell police that she was staying with Jim?
But is Jim live in Denver?
If he was just simply a friend of hers, what was the harm in telling the police that she'd be at Jim's house? Coincidence or accomplice? You decide.
So from Denver to Frederick, Colorado, which is apparently where Chris Watts lived, it's about a 40-minute drive south of Frederick, Colorado. She apparently lived in, I want to say Aurora. So, I mean, it's in that area, but I don't think that Jim was in Denver. I think she had another separate location, but again, I could be completely wrong. So, what do you guys think about the safe house? I mean, why did the police not act on this? Why did they say, well, why do you have a safe house? I can tell you right now, I don't know a lot of people. I think I know of one, but it's because they were a military person and they have their own, not safe house, but their cabin that they knew that nobody knew about it. But I don't know about anybody that has a safe house. Again, the safe house definition is to get away, hide, escape all reality and people, and to hide from law enforcement, whatever have you. That seems a little cheeky. So, but let's take a look at Dr. Phil and what he has to say about Nichol. And I can tell you right now, it's not good for her.
Locked up and paying the price regardless of what he now said. Shannon's parents had a theory. They strongly believe the reason the FBI went into that prison was because of none other than Mistress Nichol.
They wanted more.
Shannon's mother claims she believes investigators went in on a mission to get Chris to roll on his mistress. He did not, at least not yet. And again, she has never been implicated or charged with any crime. It turns out the worst thing that Nichol did, in the eyes of the law, at this point, is to fall in love with the wrong man.
She did more than that.
But whatever the reason was that they went in for, they came out with way more than they ever could have bargained for. They came out with a real confession from Chris Watts, an admission of exactly when and how he, not Shannon, killed his two beautiful and innocent daughters.
Beautiful
and
little girls.
His entire confession was recorded on tape. We were able to find out what was on those confession tapes before anyone else. Shannon's parents were told the grim and horrifying details before they were released to the media, and they wanted to be the ones to tell the world. They didn't want this to come out from some third party. They wanted to be the ones.
I mean,
that reported
understandable.
this because they wanted to dignify their daughter. Understand, at this point, the world had been told that their daughter had murdered their
Which there's
grandchildren.
no way.
And they sat there powerless to do anything about it. They sat there with some people in America believing that their precious daughter had murdered their precious grandchildren. And
There's
add
no
that
way.
to the law. Nichol Kessinger. Now, Chris and Nicole met at work, and sparks flew. They soon began an affair, but according to Nicole, she was not aware that this was an affair.
Yes, it
Or
was.
that she was the mistress, that she was the other woman.
That's why she Googled it. That's why she Googled Shanann. She Googled Chris. She Googled man having an affair with marries his mistress. She knew.
She says she thought she was dating a guy who was in the midst of a mostly amicable divorce.
Which they never said on
Once
Facebook.
news of Shannon's disappearance spread, Nicole had gone to police of her own free will to speak to them about her involvement with Chris. But was she a hero in this story?
No.
Or is it possible, like Shannon's parents believe to this day, that she tried to help Chris, and when it all started coming unraveled,
She did
when it
not.
all started hitting the wall, she got scared and bailed? Was she actually helping him and
No.
got cold feet and decided, save yourself, girl? She was never arrested or charged.
She should have
However, is there more than meets the eye with Nicole?
Yes.
Sure, she had been helping police. It seemed like she was on their side.
No, she was trying to make her name clean and free. She didn't want her name tainted with Chris Watts and make it look bad and so forth.
And not her lovers. She had told them all about Chris and Shannon's many issues. She told them Chris had confided in her that he was no longer in love. She said he talked about living alone. She basically handed them his motive on a silver platter. But Nicole also told police she had no idea that Chris and Shannon were expecting a baby.
She did.
Number 3. She says as far as she knew, their marriage was kaput.
She wanted to give Chris his firstborn son. And when she went to the house and saw the pictures and all that stuff, Nicole got pissed off, spouted off, went outside and had a hissy fit like a two-year-old toddler.
Now, there are thousands of armchair detectives who passionately followed this story who just were not satisfied with
I'm
that
not
explanation,
satisfied.
and they never said it. But it appeared to people following the case closely that the police weren't exactly satisfied with that explanation either. In today's world, all it would have taken were a few clicks of Nicole's mouse or a scroll on her phone to find Shannon's Facebook and Instagram pages. Everyone knows that if you're single and you meet someone this day and age, the first thing you do is go check out their social media platforms.
Yes.
You go look them up online and find out not only who they are today, but who they've been before you met them.
Research
and
everything.
If they have an ex, you're going to know about it, and you go right to their page too.
Yep.
You are just straight up lying if you claim you don't. I don't believe that for a second. And this wasn't an ex. This is somebody that tells you, I'm still married. We're getting a divorce. Well, you know what? Anybody with any self-awareness is going to say, really? But let me just go look and see.
Dr. Phil is calling NK's BS.
What was posted yesterday? What was posted last week? If you're telling me this is an amicable divorce and that you're really separated, you're living under one roof purely for financial reasons, then that's going to be reflected on these social media platforms because there's going to be some individuality. We're not going to be seeing all this togetherness, all these family interactions. You're not going to see this wife sitting in the husband's lap. You're not going to be seeing all this togetherness. Anyone can figure this out if you take a look.
Exactly.
If Nicole were to have checked out either Chris or Shannon's social media,
did.
Nothing would have indicated that there was a divide, and certainly not that there was a looming divorce. In fact, Shannon was frequently posting about how excited she was to add to her family nest. She was always posting about how much she loved her husband, loved her life. Is it really plausible that Nicole didn't do a little digging? Really not even digging, just clicking.
She completely lied about all of it to make it look like she was the victim.
What would you do and then tell me if you buy what she's selling.
Nope.
You start falling for somebody. He's transparent enough to say, look, I'm married, sort of. It's really all over with. The legal system, that crank turns really slow. We're very amicable about this. It's all settled. We're just waiting for the wheels of justice to turn. And you say, I'm fine with that. But are you telling me you're not going to go click just out of curiosity to learn about your new man? You're telling me you're not curious enough to go find out if everything he's telling you is true? Police may have had the same thought.
Every
They
girl
may
would
thought,
have.
well, maybe she's not saying everything she knows, because as they continued to investigate Chris, they started looking into Nichol as well.
And
She's
did nothing.
supposedly their advocate. She's supposedly their inside track to what's going on. And they're talking to her. They're encouraging her. Can I get you something to drink? Have a seat. Let's chat. But she's not out the door before they're checking on her as well. And they found that while she was being very forthcoming about certain things, she wasn't necessarily telling the whole story. They found out that she was deliberately holding some things back. They asked her to turn over her phone. She was hesitant. She eventually handed her device over to investigators. And
She
the text
deleted everything.
messages and internet searches they found made them take even a closer look at her actions before, during, and after Shanann, Bella, and Celeste murders. And here's where things don't allegedly track with what Nichol told police. On July 24th, 2018, during the height of Nichol and Chris's relationship, Nichol searched Google for, quote, man I'm having an affair with says he will leave his wife.
She knew all about it.
Quote, man I'm having an affair with says he will leave his wife. Now hear what I just said. This is about 2.5, 3 weeks before
he commits
these
murder.
Tragic murders take place. She obviously has some questions here because she Googles the phrase, quote, man I'm having an affair with says he will leave his wife. Nichol didn't search about dating a separated man or how it would work to date a divorced man with children. She specifically Googled affair. Interesting choice of words for a woman who is adamant that she thought her man was separated, simply waiting for some paperwork.
And Dr. Phil is killing it.
On August 8th, she's back to Googling. This time, the phrase is marrying your mistress. She also did a Google search for wedding dresses and spent hours searching for gowns online.
For 2 hours.
So we've got a woman who is Googling married men, affairs, and wedding dresses, all right before her lover's wife and children are brutally murdered. Now, is this a coincidence?
No.
You know, maybe. Maybe she thinks that the divorce is getting ready to come through, and so he's going to be available.
And she hides all of this.
It doesn't take a genius to consider the possibility that Nichol was hoping for a future with this guy, and that she knew she was having a full-blown secret affair, not just dating a separated man who was back on the market. Police also immediately saw that Nichol had deleted many of the texts and photos she had shared with Chris. People who have nothing to hide
nothing. Good
well,
quote right there.
Nichol thought she had deleted them,
but she did not. They got a hold of a lot of it.
Immediately saw that Nichol had deleted many of the texts and photos she had shared with Chris. People who have nothing to hide nothing. Well, Nichol thought she had deleted them, but they don't really go away. And police were able to retrieve them.
Not all of. I heard it was not all of it.
This seems like it's always the phone that gets you in these stories, isn't it? Once something is searched or sent, even if you delete it, it's just never really gone. It's like a bad rash. I can't tell you the amount of times Google searches and texts come back and just bite people in the butt. Of course, police's first question was, why had Nichol deleted texts between herself and Chris in the first place?
She was mad at
What was
Chris.
she trying to hide? Well, her explanation was simple. She said she was grossed out by Chris after finding out from news articles that he wasn't separated from his wife and that Shanann was pregnant when she disappeared. So understand, what she's asking you to believe now is that she only learned this when she read it in the newspaper. She hadn't clicked on her. She hadn't gone to her Instagram. She hadn't gone to her Facebook. She hadn't done any investigation at all. He just told her at work, I'm separated, getting a divorce, just waiting for the paperwork to go through. And she just said, okay. She didn't look. She didn't check.
Oh,
she
yeah,
didn't
she
do
did.
anything that takes nothing more than a click of a mouse. We know she knows how to click that mouse because we know she clicked it about married man says he's leaving his wife. We know she clicked it about getting a wedding gown. We know she clicked it about other things, but never clicked it to look into his current living situation. I'm sorry. I have a hard time with that. But we'll come back to that. So what had she deleted? Well, it was mostly just lovey-dovey back.
And for her to sit there and say that she didn't know nothing, she didn't do this, she didn't do that, and looked at Shanann and Chris a year before the murders took place. A year, and then she didn't know. Yeah, she was hunting Chris, and she wanted to get rid of Shanann.
We'll come back to that. So what had she deleted? Well, it was mostly just lovey-dovey back and forth. Chris might have been shy and soft-spoken in real life and cold and disconnected when texting his own wife, but in his conversations with Nichol, he comes across like a real-life Romeo, or at least a Don Juan wannabe. Some of the recovered text messages from Chris to Nichol read as follows. Hope you had a great night, beautiful. Miss you. Get home safe. Sweet dreams, my sexy empanada. Chris sent that text message the evening of August 11th, 2 days before he brutally murdered Shanann and his 2 innocent children. It seemed Chris also wanted Nichol to see the best in him. He sent Nichol this text about his character. I'm about loyalty, truthfulness, and being dedicated.
And being
I
a
don't
monster.
like playing games unless it's role-playing. Wink face emoji. I'll give you a minute to throw up in your mouth.
I did.
It's interesting that Chris points out that he's all about loyalty and truthfulness when he's deceiving both his wife and his mistress, according to her. Apparently, you can tell he's lying when his lips are moving. He's lying to his wife, he's lying to his mistress, maybe he's lying to himself. But when somebody starts telling you that they're loyal and truthful and dedicated, only thing that's going to make me more nervous than that if they start telling me they're a deacon in the church. When people just start erping this up, unsolicited, talk about red flags, just like a Navy flagman on the end of the deck. That's just how obvious that is to me. Now, arguably, one of the most telling texts Chris sent Nichol during their many communications was this. Chris writes, being in your life is something I crave. Now, here's why that one is important to study. One of the most telling texts Chris sent Nichol during their many communications was this. Chris writes, being in your life is something I crave. Now, here's why that one is important to study. This wasn't a man saying he craved sex with this woman. Plenty of affairs are purely physical. They're just about lust. No, what Chris was saying was he wanted to be in this woman's life. But did Chris crave being in Nichol's life enough that he felt like he needed to erase his own? That he felt like he needed to erase the family he had in his current life?
Apparently, because it made no sense.
Everybody has asked the question, if he wanted out so bad, get a divorce.
Exactly.
If he wanted out so bad, just leave. Abandon them. Anything is better than family annihilation.
Amen.
Why would you do that? Why would you have to do that? If you don't want to be there, leave. But a narcissist sees things only from their point of view. And understand, from his point of view, if he can just eradicate these people from the face of the earth, then A, he becomes the victim. Oh, poor Chris. B, there's no alimony, there's no child support, there's no legal fees.
Get over it.
In fact, it could turn into a profit center. Now, while Shanann and the girls were visiting her family in North Carolina, Chris was keeping busy working out, trying to look his best, and wooing his mistress with racy texts and love letters. He was quoting country and reggae songs and buying Nicole
Metallica.
mushy greeting cards with giant hearts all over them. In one handwritten letter, Chris wrote, and this is a quote, "The first day I saw you, you took my breath away. The first day I had the guts to talk to you, I got lost in those stunning green eyes."
I love that Dr. Phil has no filter. I love it. He says it how it is, and I love it. So again, guys, I could sit here and say it till I'm blue and purple in the face. There are literally people out there that are defending Chris. They are defending Nichol, saying they are the victims. They are the ones that deserve retribution. They're the ones that deserve to be happy. No, they don't. Again, like Dr. Phil says and everybody else says, divorce could have been an option. Everything else could have been an option besides murder and annihilation, and yet that's what he chose, because a narcissist, a psychopath, they only care about themselves or the ones that they love. And Chris didn't love Shanann anymore. He loved the thrill. He loved the sex and the body of Nichol when he had a beautiful looking wife, beautiful kids, and he wanted to start over, and yet divorce was not the first thing he thought of. Well, he probably did, but then it probably came out as it was mind so fast because he didn't want to pay child support. He didn't want to pay the fees. He didn't want to pay for any of that stuff. He just wanted to erase his mind of Shanann and start with Nichol. But again, like we've already said too, what is so special about Nichol? What did she have on him? Why did he give up everything for her? What does she have that we don't know? A safe house. Her family apparently is in the high with the Freemasons or not the Freemasons, or I can't remember, but Illuminati. It's like, what the frick is going on? We're still digging down, and eventually we might find the bottom, but I don't feel like we're finding the bottom anytime soon. Again, for those people that are just coming in here and hitting Watts Island and are never seen this case, or you guys are new to the channel, welcome for a bumpy and chaotic ride, because I'm still on it and we've been doing this for like a month and a half. So comment your thoughts down below. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button for more. Let me know that these videos mean something to you and that you want me to continue doing them by hitting that like button. Helps out the channel more than you guys know. Hopefully we'll get one day justice. I know there's people out there that are like, this case will never get open. You never say never. Just saying. So again, thank you guys for watching. Be safe. Be kind to each other. And we'll see you guys in the next video. So we'll see you guys next time. Peace.